So you've heard of music theory before, but it's something that's completely over your head. You don't even know where to begin with music theory. You've heard that every professional songwriter out there knows how to write music with music theory, and because of that you're sitting there feeling discouraged because you don't even know where to start with writing music with music theory. How's it going today, guys? My name's Jeremy and I'm back here with My Music Mastery, and today I want to take some time and talk about whether you need music theory to write your music or not. The first pro to knowing music theory is that it shows you what sounds good. If you're in the middle of writing a song and you've been doing it through emotion for the most part, but you hit this roadblock where you don't know where to take the song next, when you know music theory, you're able to think about the song logically and where it can logically go after what you already have written. One thing that I hear a lot of people say with music theory, and I actually agree with, is that when you know how to write music with music theory, you're not stumbling around to figure out what sounds good. You're not stumbling upon things by chance. You're doing things on purpose because you know that they're going to sound good. And this is probably the main benefit to knowing how to write music with music theory. I know that for myself before I knew music theory and I was writing my own music and I was just stumbling upon these things, but I would hit these roadblocks like I was just talking about, and I would just beat up on myself. I would say things to myself like, why can't you figure out where to go next? Why can't you finish this song? Now, because I know music theory, I'm able to refer back to it whenever I hit these roadblocks, and I'm able to overcome them. And because of this, I'm going to be able to write things from a logical perspective that I know are going to sound good. Now, as I just said, music theory is a bit more logical. Now, because of this, we can think in terms of the left brain and the right brain. The left brain being more logical and analytical, and the right brain being more creative and artistic. When you're using music theory, you can take away from the creativity and the emotion of writing your own music, and this can be a con to using music theory. Now, I'm telling you this because I want to show you both sides of the argument of whether you should use music theory or not. Ultimately, what I've discovered, like anything else, is that it's all about balance. You don't want to use too much music theory because then it'll be too analytical and boring and logical, but you also don't want to use too much emotion in your song because then it might be too sloppy, there might not be too much structure to it, and no one's going to be able to connect with it. And that's ultimately what we want to do with our music, is we want to tell a story that people can connect with. You know, this makes me think of those computer programs that write songs through algorithms, or people who write songs using math, and I just don't really understand why you would want to do that. Like I said, it takes away from the emotion and the storytelling aspect of writing your own song. The next pro that we should talk about to not writing with music theory is that it trains your ear. Now, if you don't know how to read music, or you don't know how to write out your own chord progressions or melodies, you're going to have to rely on your ear. Your ear is ultimately going to tell you what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. If you consistently write your music without using music theory, without writing out a chord progression with our flow chart that we talk about on this channel, then you're going to develop a strong foundation for your ears, and they're going to automatically tell you whether something sounds good or whether something sounds bad. Now, I want you to think back to when you weren't a musician, back when you were a kid and you didn't know anything about music. What did you listen to? If you can even remember that. When you listened to a song, what did you ultimately listen to in that song? Now, if you're like most people who aren't musicians, they tend to listen to the melody. Now, everyone does listen to different aspects in a song, but most people I find will listen to the vocals and the melody and the lyrics of the song. What they don't really realize is that they're skipping out on things like the bass line, they're skipping out on the drums, they're skipping out on the counter melody and the guitars. They're skipping out on all of these really cool things that are happening in the songs. Now, when you're writing your own music without music theory, and really with music theory even, you need to be listening to other people's music from the perspective of what all is happening in this song. You need to listen to different things within that song, like we were just talking about, like the guitars. What's the bass line doing? What's the kick doing? What are the drums as a whole doing? These are all really cool things that people often skip over, and if you take some time and listen to them within that music, you'll be able to see things that you can apply into your own music as well. You know, one thing that I've discovered as I started listening to music like this, and I started this probably about 4 or 5 years ago now, I started listening to music like this, is that every time I listen to a song, and because I listen to different things within that song every single time, it's like listening to that song for the first time again, multiple times in a row. Even today, I'll listen to songs that I've heard millions of times and I'll notice things that I've never picked up before. Now, this is probably the #1 tip that I can give you just for general songwriting tips. You must model other people if you want to become a successful songwriter. Now, the last pro arguing for music theory is that there are tools within music theory that we can apply into our own music. There are things like the circle of fifths and the chord progression flowchart that we can apply into our own music, and we can refer back to them whenever we need help. Without these tools, you may end up stumbling upon things, like I was saying earlier, and you may actually spend a significant amount of time trying to figure things out. Music theory is really a shortcut that you can use to streamline your songwriting process. I know that for myself, I wouldn't be able to write music as productively and efficiently as I can right now if I didn't know any music theory at all. I can remember back to when I was sitting in music theory class and I first saw the chord progression flowchart. I didn't really understand what it was at the time, but once I started diving into it and learning how to use it, it opened so many doors for me. I was able to see the possibilities that I could apply into my own music. The tools are out there for you. It's just a matter of learning about them and applying them into your songwriting process. So to wrap this up, let's end on a question. Can you write music without music theory? Well, of course you can. If you don't know any music theory, don't let it discourage you. Realize that it's just a tool, and it's a tool that you can learn and start applying, and it's something that I'm going to be covering on this channel in the future. You have to realize that the more music theory that you know, the more tools that you're going to have in your musical tool belt, and you can apply these tools into your songwriting process and create some really cool things with them. At the same time though, make sure that you're not so focused on learning music theory and applying it that you're forgetting the emotion. Emotion trumps everything when you're writing your own music. But remember, it is about a balance. If you're stuck in your songwriting process, just go back to the story that you're trying to tell and go back to the emotion that you're trying to evoke. Music theory isn't the end-all be-all of success for songwriters. If you don't know any music theory, just start today, and you'll figure it out along the way. Always try to be learning and growing as a musician and a songwriter, and you will become a successful songwriter, and you'll have some finished products that you can look back at and be proud of. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you got something out of it. Now, before I let you go, I want to let you know about something that I put together for you. If you go down below this video in the description box, you'll find a link to my Smash Hit Secrets PDF. My Smash Hit Secrets PDF is a free PDF that I've put together for you, and it is my entire songwriting process. The best part about this PDF is that it's 100% free. So all that you have to do is go down below this video, click on the link, and I'll send it to your email inbox 100% free. As always, be sure to leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and hit the bell so that you're notified when we upload here. Thank you all again for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.